Hello, everyone. Happy unemployment and ISM Thursday. How is everyone doing? Good morning, Sterling. Thank you for putting in all the numbers. Hey, Patrick. PMG, good morning. Good morning, Anissa. Good morning, Heinrich. We're waiting for more to filter in. Let's get started. Bunch of people in the background. Good morning to you, too. So, let's just get this rolling. Hey, Christo. Hey, Christo. So what do we got going on? We have the ADP numbers coming in. Then those, I mean, people sometimes give it more weight than it should. It's very minor, but it was a pretty strong beat. Initial jobless claims pretty much coming in line, slightly better. Unit labor costs, interesting enough, coming in much better than forecast. Higher than previous, but much better than forecast. Non-farm productivity coming in slightly better, but still dropping negative. Jobless claims, continuing jobless claims were expected, 1797, 1800 coming in slightly better. So overall, a slightly better report for jobless claims, but nothing really market moving. Hey, Paul. Good morning, Options 22. Good morning, Royal Palms. Good morning, Jacob. All right, what's next? 15 minutes after the open, we got the more minor. These are small and medium-sized company, S&P Global Manufacturing. But more important, at 9 a.m., we have ISM Manufacturing. And watch the employment figure for this to see if that drops back into contraction. And the prices expected to come down a bit from prior, but still above 50. So keep an eye on both those. And then it's all quiet going into non-farm payroll Friday. Market is looking a little tired after a couple day pullback. There are no great long-term patterns besides still the negative pattern in the Dow. Salesforce taking it in the shorts today after their earnings yesterday. But sort of a mixed market this morning. Nothing besides these little selling in sales for CRM. There's no other big. Dollar General also with their earnings down 10.5%. Target continues its slide from the tuck bathing suit fallout. You can see the group scan. Let me just refresh this since, all right, energy and basic materials still leading. Technology, slight pullback. But there's not a lot besides some bounce in energy today. Fed Watch tool with the skip. Skip is the new pause. Let's see where the skip takes us. So the skip is only 25% now for the June hike. Only 25%. And all other hikes essentially are priced out. So it's just a pause and one cut in December. So no hikes at this point priced in. No, none, zero, zilp, nada. So not even looking at that skip, just looking at the pause and then cutting in December. Fear and greed still in greed mode. We have that wall roughly, that 4,200 still key. 4,200, remember, kicks in more call gamma above there. The 4,150 area starts really kicking in the put gamma. And the gamma flip is 4,211. So any rally, I'm really watching some significant resistance between 4,200 and 4,210 area. We start breaking above 4,210. We are in positive gamma, but we could sustain upward by the more recent high area. Again, we had Dollar General was a miss, which very interesting because that's the low end stuff, and it was a miss. Macy's was a beat miss, so they missed on revenue. So that's interesting. I have to look into Hormel a little more. Did not look at this. After the close, we got Zscaler, Broadcom, and Lululemon. So a couple big ones after the close today. And then we wind down. We got nothing for tomorrow. Oh, and Dell's down there, but that's more minor at this point. All right. So what do we got? Still we've had a pullback, but no major technical damage to be done. We really have to get back below this 40-50 level before we start getting technical damage really starts to look at. So this is just a minor pullback, a 2-day pullback right now, dipping into the rotation zone where we rotated up yesterday, rotating up today. What am I watching going into the open? If we start breaking below about 41.88, remember we came back down to the 50% harmonic from this little run up. So that would be my first target. And then below that, we have major support, 4160, 4163. So that's what I'm watching to the downside. Again, there aren't a lot of great patterns. If we start getting stronger internals after a 2-day pullback above 42, exactly around 4202, but then I'm using the prior harmonic areas. 4210, 4211 is the gamma flip going into positive gamma. And then the next target is about 4221. There's no real major clear path move to the upside. And there's still a little to the downside, but remember the 50% harmonic got in the way. But if we do break down, I'm really watching that 4160 area for key support. NASDAQ. Breakdown area for me is 14,250. Breakout area is 14,350. That just happens to be where they lined up with the key significance. Below 14,250, you see we're into a clear path move right there. NASDAQ was a little weaker yesterday. It was about in line with the S&P today. 14,193, so 14,2. And then what else do we have here? The rotation zone's gone flat. Where's the rotation zone on the daily? About 14,145, 14,150 would be key. The next key level on any sell-off, and I'd be watching for a bounce around there. You know, we could still be on significant sort of range trading unless ISM's really strange number, because we got non-farm payrolls tomorrow and a lot of the market's waiting on non-farm payrolls. Dow, we still have one final target to go. I'm just pulling this off for now to unclutter the charts, and this line down here, this 32, let's just call it 32.4 is the final target, but the Dow's holding in the area of the 200. Now, this is a little daily double bottom, but a long way off from triggering and one of the lower probability kinds because of the choppy stair-step nature down, but we will keep an eye, not for today, but in case that does trigger for another move up. Other than that, I still have a negative bias on the Dow overall. The area for today, though, is about 32,790. 32,800, 32,790, and then the targets would be 32,708, and then the lows from the 25th of May. To the upside, the major resistance is about 33,065. Then the next target areas would be 33,155, 33,231. The Russell inside day, very narrow range day, still support coming in at 1741. Resistance still at 1771. Is there a little pattern? No. A little interesting front run area could be about 1762 to the upside. VIX still, again, the only thing that will make me sit up and take notice if we start accelerating above 1835. The DAX inside day also, so nothing's changed. 15,650's key resistance. Key support. Key resistance is coming in about 15,950. Notes, big gap up. Remember, we had the debt ceiling deal passed, big gap up, so yields are dropping. I see your little comment in there. Sterling, potential 4-hour double bottom and 2-year yields. We'll take a look at that. Next target to upside is 115.10. Key support 114.03, and then we'd be targeting the gap fill play. Here's your 10-year with the key yield pullback, multi-day pullback. Cycle's now getting to the bottom area. The 10-2s with Sterling, the 2s with Sterling mentioned. Yeah, that spike, it's It's probably going to be taken off the table today, but this is a lower probability one because this spike up sort of messed it up. But there you go. I'm more expecting this is going to head on down the yield curve. See if it's stabilized yet. Nah, still we have that triggered double top thing, messy double top on the weekly basis. So still watching for potentially this to come back down and backfill, potentially to like minus 90 basis points again. Dollar index, lots of selling pressure. Lots of selling pressure above 103.85 area. Still holding the rotation zone. If we break below that, nothing's changed since yesterday. Still 103.10. And then watching for a zone between about 102.70 to 102.85. Not expecting a ton going on with the dollar today. Crude, but you always got to be on your toes. Crude closed below. The official settlement was below the 62.5. So on any pops, I will be watching for a rollover play, but targeting the 65 area again. We are getting to some daily cycle bottoms, but not turning up yet. But any pops to me are still for potential rollovers for the time being, and still overall in a consolidation pattern. But I would not be surprised to see it retesting the lower ends of the range. Gold, pause right now. We'll be sitting up to take notice if it gets above 1991. Then the target for me is 2016. Silver, not much. Copper, not really much going on there. Platinum, remember, we still have we're pausing right around that first target area. From my perspective, when I see this, it's close enough to raise a stop. Yen, day 4 so far, the pullback coming in the key support and in the rotation zone, but no bullish setup, and support just slightly lower than where it is. So again, there's just not a lot of great setups right now. Euro, not much. Key resistance at the 107. Still watching for if we do pop for another rollover play there, but not necessarily today. The yen, we broke above that 37.5 and went straight to that 50. So here's the potential rollover zone, but we're back into major consolidation. That's probably pretty much done for the day, but next target is 125.40 the upside, but anywhere in here we'll be watching for a potential rollover unless we close above 125.40. Bitcoin, not much. Wow. Tesla, I'll get to the spiders and the Qs in a second. Tesla slight gap down, so if we do get into bounce mode, 203.93. And then you got about 211.80, 212 area. So that's where that sits. If it rolls over, there's pretty decent support at 200. And you still have a gap down to the downside to 193, but we need some pretty strong selling pressure in the mega caps to get that. NVIDIA, which some people thought I was bearish on NVIDIA. It's more in trailing mode. We've not had a triggered bearish setup yet. We might have had some potentials that never triggered. But, I told you, I'm watching for right now the secondary reaction, which we might get today, and then to see if we set up a more significant bearish pattern. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, we break below 366 area. I'd be watching for a retest, but not the gap fill. Retest of the rotation zone, but not the full gap fill yet. So I'm not overly long term. I will shift to more bearish at some point on NVIDIA because the valuations just aren't there, and it's even for a massive growth, it's just not going to be able to outpace these valuations. Spiders, I just wouldn't get chopped up. Right now, We're trading inside, let's see, yesterday's high, 419.22. We're trading inside yesterday's bar. So really going to be watching that 419.22. We break above there. We still have a gap fill to 420.18. All right, to the downside, see if there's anything. See, there's just not much. Besides, we start breaking below about 417.50. I'd be looking for a retest of yesterday's lows, 416.21. So slight gap up in the Qs. 347.99 would be for the gap fill. We're trading roughly there. So there's nothing there. I'll be then watching yesterday's lows, 346.51. And, boy. Let's see if we can find anything. Little breakout area on the Qs would be about 349. Breakdown would be about this 346.60. Other than that, it's just in a choppy middle ground. Why is gold still holding up after strong? The data wasn't that strong. The data wasn't that strong. Everything's sort of in pause mode, waiting on some numbers this week and to verify that the Fed's actually going to do the skip pattern. AVGO, shooting star, that is a very toppy pattern. Yeah. Now, I'll be watching again. Secondary reaction will be key. So that's what I love. This is a great example. So I'm going to be watching if it gets a stronger bounce up, about this 854 to 872 area. That will tell us how strong any bounce is, but this is looking like it's going to set up a very toppy thing going into earnings today. Remember, earnings today. So let's see how that plays out. Chewy up big. I did not look at Chewy this morning. Oh, Chewy is up big. So they did they reported positive earnings and they beat on revenue. People still buying for their pets. Still buying for their pets. So thank you for that, Rich. With that, my overall message, watch the numbers at 9 and don't position yourself to lose money if there's no major movement, or we get in the choppy mode with no major confirming market internals going into non-farm payrolls tomorrow. So today's more of, from my perspective, more of a defensive day unless we really start with some momentum and breaks the key levels I listed earlier. With that, I shall talk to everyone after the close. Have a wonderful trading day. Bye for now.